Today, it's all about Atlantic red crab and an entrepreneurial fisherman who's built an impressive operation in the heart of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Pass the butter, crab is on the menu.
I'll tell you what, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore.
My name is Tommy Gomes. I'm a fourth-generation commercial fisherman. It's a hard life, but it's in my blood. I want you to meet the farmers of the sea who work so hard to bring the freshest seafood to your dinner table. It's not an easy living. Long hours, filled with uncertainty, and there's no guarantees, but man, is it worth it. I'm Tommy Gomes, the Fishmonger.
23 nautical miles away from Martha's Vineyard is Buzzards Bay. And from there, we go to New Bedford, the #1 fishing port in America. New Bedford earned its reputation as a whaling port in the 1700s and 1800s. In 1966, they built a barrier gate because of the storms that were coming in and devastating the shoreline.
The densely populated northeastern states were dealt one of the most staggering blows in their long history. Within a few weeks of each other, Hurricane Carol and later a 9-inch deluge combined to reduce some of the nation's oldest cities to a shambles. Even as these pictures were made, rebuilding had started.
On the Fairhaven side of the barrier gate is the Phoenix State Park. And that's where I met up with John Williams, the owner of the Atlantic Red Crab Company, and we go way back. I mean, you got your own fleet of boats. You're the guy everybody wants to work for. Why?
Hard work. Hard work and good crews. At the end of the day, you've got to just surround yourself with the right people and keep the right people all the time.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then they'll make you look good, and they'll gravitate to you.
We have one of your boats coming in today, right?
Correct. We've got the Benthic Mariner.
Look at her. She's sexy.
She's a nice boat.
The guy running this boat, he's a little crab savvy, huh?
He's a little crab savvy. He started with me 26 years ago, and now he runs this boat. And that man alone caught more crab than the entire Deadliest Catch fleet combined last year.
You know, Skipper, with all the technology and everything that we have from the pilot house to the engine room, when it comes right down to it, manual labor unloading a boat has never changed, right?
We tried every which way you can think of, and it always goes back to the original. Just get down in there, get dirty, and pump them out.
When you think about it, this is where quality control starts.
Right. Yep.
So how many pounds of crab are going in each basket?
Each one of these holds roughly about 100 pounds apiece. They'll probably be 4 hours on both sides.
And there's no union breaks nonstop. You don't work an hour, take 10 off?
No, these guys keep on chewing.
What do you got for major issues, Johnny?
Nothing major, just the generator oil service again. And gonna check on the hauler plates, because I'm down to my last shift. Didn't bust too much this trip.
We're gonna start first is going down, because I got fuel coming, so I want to check all the fuel tanks, see what kind of levels they're at. And then I gotta look to see what engines need to be serviced. And then we'll take it from there.
Tommy grew up on the water. It's not a typical childhood. I sat down with him to learn more about what family life was like on the boats and on the docks.
So, Tommy, you know, you've got this whole fishmonger thing.
Yeah.
You're a big deal now. Everybody, hey, Tommy Gomes, Tommy Gomes. But I mean,
where's my money?
Oh, I didn't tell you?
No, that's what they tell me.
Well, we're here to build your reputation. How did you get into this whole thing anyway? I know you're fourth generation fisherman, but did you want to do this growing up?
Be a fisherman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, because, I mean, everything that surrounded my life as a kid was always down at the docks and at the boats, and you know, all my uncles, my brothers, and my father's friends, and they were larger than life. And I never quite got to be larger than life, but I definitely got to do my share of commercial fishing.
Well, and I know your old man was a big influence on you too. Tell me about growing up with Dad, and what was he like?
You know, yeah, the old man was, he was very loving and caring, but he was very hard-nosed to a point, and then the soft side would come out. I remember him walking me on the boat and introducing me to the crew as the new crew member, and then walking me off the boat and everybody coming off the boat and introducing me as his son.
Well, and you have to have that discipline on a boat at sea, right?
Oh, yeah.
There has to be a hierarchy. There has to be who's the boss, who's not the boss, or people die.
There's definitely a pecking order, or people. Yeah, you don't get to go to, you know, mash buoy out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Get stitched up. No, you get stitched up on the boat.
With staplers and whatever. And I mean, you got people that could sew.
Well, yeah, if you can sew a net, you can make a stitch.
Up next, we're gonna go below deck. Tommy suits up in more delicious crab than you can possibly eat. Although, Tommy gives it his best shot. Before we get back to New Bedford, Tommy's got a take on a Portuguese classic, linguiça. Thresher shark linguiça. What? You don't have thresher shark lying around?
And today we've got a special treat because I have thresher shark linguiça. So I took thresher shark, ground it up, added pork fat to it because pork makes the world a better place. And that's what we got. Linguiça, known as the Portuguese bacon, throughout not only Portugal, but New Bedford as well, and here in San Diego with the big Portuguese community that we have. So we're going to toss it on our Camp Chef flat top here. So that's what we got, linguiça going on with some pork fat. We've got our vegetables all cut up here. Look at these. We have some beautiful onions. We have some red, yellow, and green bell peppers. We're just going to dump these all right in here. I'm going to get a little bit of melted butter and olive oil. Of course, everything's better with olive oil and butter. And if you look behind us, you'll remember from season 1, the Kaylee H., David Hayworth. I think Pete Grillo's hanging around here, and I'm sure they're going to get a whiff of this stuff pretty soon. We have our buttered buns. We have, of course, our beautiful thresher shark linguiça. Right on top, we're just going to get our beautiful sautéed vegetables. We're just going to pack them in there like that. I'm going to set it right up in this little tray. Look at that. And that's what you got with a thresher shark pork fat.
That looks beautiful. Thank you.
The sidewalk pelican. Did you guys see that?
We're back in New Bedford with John Williams and the Atlantic Red Crab Company. The Benthic Mariner has just returned to port with a hold full of Atlantic red crab.
My eyelids all fluttering.
Want me to back it?
Means I'm about to lie. I'm from a small town in Booth Bay. Fishermen are pretty highly regarded up there, you know. Like when I come home, I'll be down here for 2 or 3 months. I'll go home and I go to the store, and the woman at the store says, "What are you doing home?" or "How long are you home for?" You know. I think it's nice to be respected, have a good work ethic, you know.
This is the Hague line. The Hague line is the border between the U.S. and Canada. That's right about here. We'll fish anywhere from start here, and we work out all the way down to pretty much the North Carolina, Virginia border. And if you used to fish that whole way, it might take 3 months or something like that. You'd cover every inch of bottom.
Refueled and normal maintenance underway, the crew will get some rest and then prepare to head back out. The crabs continue their journey to our dinner plates.
These things here, we put hammers in there. Those things will climb up and make a pyramid, and then they'll all walk up the side of the pyramid go out the hole.
Tommy and John head inside the facility to see the beginning of the processing operation. More crab, a super simple ceviche recipe, and Kyler Seafoods has a take on the famous Maine lobster roll. Coming up on the Fishmonger. Back in San Diego, Tommy's got a Portuguese twist on a tuna salad recipe that was a staple on the boat back in his fishing days. When life gives you tuna, you make tuna salad.
Tuna salad doesn't necessarily need to come in a can. And seeing that the show is about New Bedford, what we're going to show you is what we call the Portuguese tuna salad. So what we are doing is we took a lesser quality piece of tuna, and you can see that it's a little off color, it's a little soft, but it's still extremely edible. This is a beautiful piece of fish. It's just not that rosy red tuna that everybody wants to eat. I like to cut it up. I put it in a triple pot steamer that you can see here. We're gonna dump it all into a big mixing bowl, drizzle a bunch of olive oil in there. We're using red wine vinegar. This is what I learned to make it with on the boats. We'll just drizzle some of this in here. Our beautiful sliced red onions, along with the green onions or chives, if you will. Garlic powder. Oh, we make this on the boats all the time. We're gonna drizzle in a little bit of onion powder, and now we're gonna put in a bunch of capers and a little bit of black pepper to offset the acid from the red wine vinegar, if you will. Look at that, beautiful tuna salad. It's made from a lesser grade of tuna, and you can make this with any fish. So think outside the box, or think outside the can in this case, when it comes to tuna salad.
From the Hurricane Gate to the dock to the processing facility, John Williams of Atlantic Red Crab Company is giving Tommy an all-access tour of one serious operation.
You're a pretty smart dude. You might have a face for radio, but you're pretty smart.
An operation like John's has many moving parts. Helping John make it happen is Dawn Walsh, COO for Atlantic Red Crab.
What we're doing is clean, good, wholesome food. You know, I stand behind it and feel really proud about it. Based on what we caught last year, we provide over 15 million meals to the American citizens because all of our crab stays here in the United States, and that's something to be proud of.
Tommy and John suit up for the next part of the tour, but first they have to sanitize before they can enter the high-risk portion of the facility.
Scalpel, please.
Gloves, nurse.
This building is the only high-risk processing plant in New Bedford.
Okay.
When they open up our package, you can take it and put it right in your mouth and eat it. This foam is sanitized foam, so it kills all bacteria. Other than people coming in the room, we've got 40, 50,000 pounds of crab a day coming into the room at the same time, but it's got to be sanitary, 100% sanitary, 100% cooked when it comes into the room.
So that's what you got going on here, right? This is a full steamer?
This is a cooker, it's a boiler.
So you're cooling all the way down.
Now it's probably down to 130, and it can go into any one of these 6 tanks.
So these are ice cold from that slurry,
Exactly.
which stopped the cooking process 100%, which allows you to separate the meat from the shell easily, getting more of a yield and less damaged meat. Is that about right?
That's right.
So I could literally eat this right now.
Right now, you can put it in your mouth and eat it. It looks like chaos, but we're actually producing 4 items in this room right now. And the first step is these ladies along this table and those along there breaking down the crab to make those 4 items. This is the highest dollar item we sell today. Occasionally you do bag checks when people leave.
A short drive down the road from John's facility is the Pier Fish Company, a family-owned business that's made selling fish their business for generations.
We know a lot of the same folks.
Yeah, we do.
It's crazy, right? How the industry is built on relationships.
That's the main thing, and that's a thing that, you know, we got to keep going.
How'd you meet this guy?
Well, I originally met him through his partner, which I do a lot of business with.
At least you didn't meet him on Craigslist or something.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And yeah, we've been working together for about 6 years now. And this project, we started about 3.5 years ago. And we thought that John came, hey, what do you think of this idea? I said, that's a good one. And it took us about 3.5 years to get it to market.
Tommy's worked up a pretty good appetite checking out the operation. So he heads over to John's place for crab, and more crab.
Wait. You're not going to make ceviche out of crab, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to give you some crab ceviche.
Let me have it.
So you start with a 1 pound thing of the leg meat, fresh salsa. 1 pound of crab meat goes in.
Oh, look at that. Hello, my pretties.
Add some extra cilantro, lime juice, and then we've got to just blend it in. For the hot sauce,
go ahead, throw it in there. 2 guys cook for you. Do they want to feel it again in the morning? You want to make it real hot, right? Look at that. I'll tell you what, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore.
How long did it take to throw that together?
5 minutes.
There's more to come on the Fishmonger. In October of 1991, a perfect storm developed over the Atlantic after a nor'easter-absorbed Hurricane Grace. The record-setting storm lashed the Atlantic coast with massive waves and coastal flooding. By the time the storm was over, 13 people lost their lives, including 6 crew members aboard the Andrea Gale, a fishing vessel from Gloucester, Massachusetts.
This isn't an emergency. Can you read me?
The tragic events inspired a novel and later a movie. But the true story of the Andrea Gale will never be completely known, as the ship and all her crew were lost at sea. The last reported transmission from the Andrea Gale was at 6 p.m. on October 28, 1991, when Captain Billy Tyne radioed Linda Greenlaw, captain of the Hannah Bowden, which at the time was owned by the same company. Tyne gave his coordinates as being east of Sable Island, and he gave a weather report indicating 30-foot waves. His final recorded words were,
"She's coming on, boys, and she's coming on strong."
Tommy often talks about the risks fishermen take every time they go out. They gamble not only with the likelihood of a good catch, but with their lives. And they do it to feed their families and provide seafood for the rest of us. Remember, according to the CDC, commercial fishing is one of the most dangerous professions. As consumers, we can do our part by buying wild-caught American seafood. Today, the sister vessel of the Andrea Gale, the Hannah Bowden, is owned by John Williams. The Hannah Bowden was out fishing when Tommy was in town, but John's other fishing vessels, like the Benthic Patriot and his new flagship, the Benthic Voyager, were docked outside Kyler Seafood. Kyler is a New Bedford family-owned processing facility, market, and restaurant. And it's getting close to Tommy's lunchtime.
What do you got going? Walk me through.
So on this side here, we have all our shellfish. We have live lobsters. We have all live shellfish. We have all raw shrimp in the shell. We have a couple other items like fresh chopped clams, fresh frying clams.
And with each generation, we're stepping into another zone?
Exactly. Like our generations of ownership, we also have 4 generations to the retail market. Right here, we have all our fresh fish. We have all our stuffed items that are prepared in-house.
And did we just step into another additional
This is
for
the
another
third
generation?
This is the third right here. And lastly, what will be later is the 4th out on the patio.
So we've got 2 different crabs. We've got a red crab and we've got the Jonah crab.
This one on your left is the Jonah crab. So this is a cancer crab, and this is the deep water crab.
I'm ready to eat.
Try one.
This is the red crab.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, they're both pretty delicious. Texture-wise, I would go with the red crab. But other than that, I mean, they're both delicious.
John invites Tommy aboard to check out the future of his business.
This is tomorrow's crab boat. It says the efficiency of this vessel. It's going to be a catcher processor. We're going to be able to harvest the crab. We're going to be able to cook at sea. We're going to be able to do everything on board and bring in a frozen, finished product when the boat hits the dock. Boat to throat for real.
Red Crab Company, red crabs. We've seen and covered everything that there is. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Pleasure to show you around. It's nice to be proud of something that you've built.